Well, first of all, I want to welcome Senator Sawyer to the General Assembly. I had been the only member of the Independent Agents of North Carolina in the General Assembly the last 2 years, so now we've got not only Senator Sawyer, but we have Senator Johnson and Senator Bergen here, so there's 4 of us. But you know, I think Vickie would agree that being in business for ourselves, that you have to understand budgets. You have to understand that you can't spend money you don't have. Just some practical things like that, I think, has helped me be a good legislator, because we don't come from a world where you can spend more than you take in. Is that fair?
That's very fair.
I know we can't pay our employees with money we don't have.
Correct.
So I think just being independent business people brings a valuable background. So.
And I agree with that. And also just having your own agency and starting it from scratch like my husband and I did. You feel and know from the very beginning, from your poorest of days to your more successful days. And you can understand that process from the beginning to the end. So when we're up here making decisions about people's lives, it's because we've lived it, we've been there, and we're going to try to make it better.
One of the things I was really happy that I was involved in 2 years ago, I was one of the co-sponsors on the legislation that set up the Rainy Day Fund, which the critics of that at the time said the state shouldn't be a bank and shouldn't be in the business of you know, taking more tax money than we spend. But wow, isn't everybody glad that we have it now, that we wrote a check for $800 million for disaster relief? So I think being good stewards of the state money and the budgets is the #1 thing, and then some specific legislation certainly might be the, as we've talked about, the distracted driving legislation. That's actually the #1, it's #1 issue of the Independent Agents Association as far as a legislation list for this next session. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that and working on that.
Very good. And along the lines of responsible budgeting is kind of the way we look at our businesses, as we are insurance folks. So we do have these storms coming through over and over again, and what we can do as a state to better position ourselves, because thankfully we do have a rainy day fund now.
Right.
We may not have that to fall back on one day. So how do we as a state position ourselves better to handle these natural disasters that when we get 100-year storms every 2 years now?
That will come, yes, exactly
that will
right.
come again. Do it.
Absolutely.
We need more friends up here.
We do. It's been great having these guys come in. I know I've got colleagues in the General Assembly, even though Senator Sawyer is in the other house across the way, the Senate. We have a little friendly. There's always a little friendly banter between the two chambers, but glad to have them here in I feel like in my corner, our corner. But if other agents were considering running, we would encourage you to do that. We want to say thank you to the independent insurance agents for helping us. They donated to our campaigns, and it's one of those kind of necessary evils. It's expensive to run. The average General Assembly seat cost well over $100,000 to obtain, and it's just advertising is necessary. Getting your name out there is necessary. Mailers. There were seats that cost over $1 million.
Yeah, that is, you're very true about that. And just the value of having the big eye on your side is something that I never saw. I saw it as an agent, but now I even see more. I mean, policy and law dictates everything we do every day in our offices. And I don't know how many times you've hit your head against the wall going, why is it this way? This doesn't make sense. Well, now we have a chance as legislatures to change those things that don't make sense. And if we could have more friends that are insurance agents come and join us and help us in that fight, I think it would be great for North Carolina.
Great point. And it's good to have an organization like the Big I and the Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina there to advise us.
Correct.
You know, it's like the distracted driving legislation I referred to a moment ago. It's good to have an organization that knows statistics and understands issues from a business standpoint. And so I'd just like to say again, thanks to independent insurance agents for what they are doing and will do for us in the future.